With 30 USD, this is Singapore dollar, imagine it's USD. With 30 USD, what can you buy in Arknights? You can get yourself one headhunting pack, and what this headhunting pack do? You can get guaranteed 6-star anybody you want of your free choice, and better yet, comes together with 10 time headhunting permit. That's a steal! 30 USD another gacha game? What can I buy? 10 poo? What in the world? That's not gonna get me anything. But here, one 6-star to complete your 12-man squad. You're already 1/12 of the way to beating the game. That's crazy! Hey there! This video is going to take you through who you want to select when you buy the headhunting packs. So these are the two 30 USD headhunting packs. You have one for standard and you have one for kernel. And in terms of what you get together with it, it's also a little bit different. So for the standard one, of course, it's going to feature a lot of the newer units. The year 1 to year 2 units are omitted from here. And then you get yourself a 10-time headhunting permit also. Then for the kernel pack, you will get basically the ticket for year 1 to year 2 units, as you can see over here. And then a 10-time headhunting permit together with a 10-time kernel headhunting permit. In terms of worth, because you're getting more pools within the kernel, and there's probably someone good that you can select from here, the value for money is better on the kernel side. And at the same time, it's also harder for you to get the operators in kernel, because they don't appear in standard banner anymore, where if you were to pull for like this event for example, they don't appear within these stuff. You actually only can get them if you're using your blue tickets or you're trying to pull on these banners. The other times that you're probably getting them is either by doing your recruitment, or otherwise, if you're spending your yellow certs, you try to use that to buy them. So in terms of the chance of them appearing in your account, it's probably much better to complete your rosters using the kernel headhunting pack. So that's that for value of money, but there is a lot more modern units in this standard headhunting pack that some of you might find more influential to your account. There is definitely so much more stronger people here that I would be recommending, and that is what we are going to hear in this video. Who shall you select from these packs? One of the trickiest things to do when recommending operators to people is there are different types of players. Some players are new, some players are mid-game and late-game. And when it comes to how to fill your roster, there's a difference between, oh, I have 5 operators left to buy, who should I pick? And I have basically everybody missing. So the way I'm going to make this video is going to be as such. There's going to be 5 units that I'm recommending from kernel. 3 of them being top 3 and 2 of them being my own fun picks. So top 3 meaning no matter where you are within the game, I do think that it's going to help your account a lot. And when it comes to the 2 fun picks that I'm going for, if you already own the top 3 or you just want me to be the person to recommend to you what to get, I'm basically saying these aren't like, necessarily crazy powerful. But I think if you learn how to play them, you can find a lot of joy in being able to use them. And I'm going to do the exact same thing for the standard headhunting as well. So I'm going to tell you what are my top 3 picks, and then I'm going to tell you what are the 2 fun picks that I have. Okay? So the top picks are probably going to surprise some people, where some of you are going to argue like, why didn't you say this operator or that operator? I will explain that all after I've gone through what the picks are. But before we actually go through the 10 operators that I'm going to recommend, there was an original initial idea that I had for the video, which is to make some good presentation for the operators that I would have recommended. But I didn't think that it was very easy to execute, and we already pre-filmed some of those content. So rather than to throw them into the trash, I'm gonna let you watch our cinematic production for the time being, and hopefully you enjoy it. If you don't like it, you can skip to the back where I'll tell you who to buy. Let's get started. Escalon. First, let me start by saying, she's hot. Second, her utility is even hotter. Movement speed is reduced. Movement speed is even more reduced. Movement speed is even more reduced. DOT damage. Nope, not 3 seconds, not 5 seconds. Freaking 25 seconds. And all this for free. This ambusher damage so high, I'd wish she'd do it to me. Mizuki wish she could. Ines! No, seriously, it's not fair. Enemies within her range has reduced movement speed and lose invisibility. She's already making people in the community lose gallons to herself, and yet she can leave a freaking ghost behind and does the same abilities. It's not fair! This woman can get free bind onto any enemy that she touches, and she steals their attack. She's stealing everybody's hearts. This unit is just pure broken. How do you put all this in a low TP cost unit that can do so many things that so many other people can't even do? That's a top 3 right there. Guys, for the 100th time, I'm telling you, I'm not biased. Narutoya is just freaking good. Look at her. It's M3 skill 1, skill 2, skill 3. They're all freaking good. Narutoya is a top tier unit. People say Whistled is good. No, she's better than Whistled. I'm telling you, she is so freaking good. She's got utility, she's got damage, she steals shit, she's got dodge. She's just Whistled, but better. You got to pull for her. I am telling you, it is not biased. Okay, that was a fever dream of a time. I hope I never do that again. But anyways, now we're gonna go through what operators I think you should be getting. So we're gonna start off with Kernel Headhunting that you see over here, where there's the year 0 to year 1 units. So in terms of the first top 3 that I'm gonna recommend, first off, I'm going to say SELECTOR will be in the top 3 because it's a very good panic button. It's nice that she has the resistance ignore, and if there are stages where you feel like you can't kill anything, SELECTOR can be an option that you go for, right? Even if you have a lot of damage dealers at the moment where they can be your panic buttons, it's just nice to have the other one, and also SELECTOR doesn't die, right? If you have a skill on, as long as the HP is sustaining for a good number of seconds, the skill keeps going. So I think it's going to be a very good option no matter where you are in the game. It's very usable for you to have SELECTOR in your squad. Then the next one is going to be Keltsit. So people might say that the detriment of Keltsit is the deployment limit because you're using both her as a medic and monster as another deployment slot. But that's kind of what you usually do within the game, where you have a medic and then a DPS being healed by the medic. So it's kind of fine to have this pairing. Monster, on the other hand, is very tanky, high defense, a good amount of HP, and it's also quite rare for you to see people who can deal true damage within the game. So with Keltsit being someone that can gain access towards that with her skill 3, that's something that makes her and Monster very good. And then also her skill 2 is a very fast charging skill where it's mad damage when it comes to AoE. So it's super versatile. Definitely anybody can appreciate to use Keltsit, and even if you're in late game, using her in IS is a ball of fun. The last person that I'm going to recommend is going to be Nightingale. If you're a new player, please do not select Nightingale. I want you to focus on damage dealers first, then you can pick Nightingale. Nightingale is more mid-game to late game, and the reason is that Nightingale's role is quite unique, where her skill tree is able to give a massive amount of arts resistance to everybody in her range. So that's a bit different from Aya, where she's just trying to rapid heal everybody. In this case, you're not even trying to give big healing. It still does, but you're trying to prevent damage from being dealt in the first place. And that is really good for tons of stages in the game where arts damage is the focus of the enemies. So there isn't much people who can do something quite similar. Maybe Hoshi Alter, someone that you see later in the game, might be doing something a bit there, but Nightingale nonetheless is quite one of her own. So that is kind of why I would suggest it within the top 3. I almost wanted to put people like Mountain in the top 3, or maybe even Kyobi. Those are really good characters, don't get me wrong. Bagpipe is awesome as well. Silver Ash, Taunt's also a great starter, but I do feel that the top 3 I pick are people that play really specialized roles that if you own them, you will be very happy that, you know, in the future when you see a certain stage, you now have those options in order to help you clear those stages. So that is the reason why these are my top 3. Now I do have fun picks to recommend as mentioned, and the 2 operators I'm going to suggest for you to pull are Mostima and Rosa. Again, they are fun picks. They're not meant to be absolutely insane 6 stars. The reason why I chose these operators is that I do feel there is difficulty in terms of learning how they work. But if you do understand their kit, both the talent and the modules they provide, I do think there is some sense of achievement to master these characters. So like in the case of Mostima, the ability to give high SP regen to casters is something that I don't think people quite use all too much, but for me, I like to blend it together with like Aya, Logos, Lapland Outer, Golden Glow, and then using her skill tree, learning how to actually cast a good slow range is also very interesting, and along with her module as well, with the global slow. And when it comes to Rosa, the ability for you to cast the big amount of bind on that skill 3, or even if you're trying to use her as a DPS unit on skill 2 or 3, whichever that you're going for, there is a bit of that difficulty curve of trying to get used to that range that she has. It's something that Typhon does as well, but some of you might not have used either characters. Learning how to make use of that heavy target priority, I do feel once you get used to it, it will feel great that you're learning a character that you don't often see in basically so many of the other AK characters. So those are fun picks. It's the ones that I'll suggest that if you have nobody in mind and you're missing these people and you say, Cookie, pick me anything, there you go. Now welcome over to the standard Headhunting pack, and again, there are too many good options here, okay? Some of you are gonna scream at me because I'm only selecting a top 3, okay? These are the 3 people, just like the previous one, that I feel no matter where you are in the game, you will benefit, and they are just very specialized roles such that if you see the moment of a stage that you need that role, you will just be turning your heads towards them. So, the 3 units are going to be Ines, which Ines is simply because she's just crazy on the utility. I mean, you saw it in the skit, right? I'm screaming about the fact that she has free bind, you know, it's a cheap DP operator for you to deploy, just great to start the stage, and she can have 2 different utility ranges, right? The first deployment cast 1, second deployment is another one. It's just insane to use Ines. If you talk to any AK player, they will all agree with you. Ines is just one of the best characters, and it's just weird, you know? She's not like the highest damage dealer, and yet all of us think that she's insane. The next person I'm going to recommend on the top 3 as well is going to be Escalon. So Escalon just has an incredible amount of movement speed down. You know, if you're using her just for her talent or even her basic attack, right? With module and with her talent, there's already movement speed down. With the skill, it just goes even more insane. And it's the biggest amount of DOT damage that you can find within the game. The damage amount is high, the damage duration is high. It's just a very broken character that helps you simplify so many stages. She does have a very good skill tree as well that I don't think the community talks about as much, but most people just turn their heads to skill 2, and even that alone is just insanely powerful. So Escalon is really just a great unit. And then the final one I'm going to say is Euphenius. So Euphenius' role is also insane with the amount of stun time that he can do, the fact that he can change his deployment, throw himself far into the stage, deal a big amount of damage, high attack, high HP, big stun time. If you're using him in IS, you are basically gonna beat IS3 and IS5 easily because that's just how much his kit can just provide within the stage. And even if you're clearing normal content, there are also just so many positions that Euphenius can be in order to save you within the stage. So these 3 operators are really easy top 3s that I have to go for. Once again, I need to re-emphasize that these are just top 3s. There's tons of other people that are genuinely crazy. You know, Logos is a mad ass damage dealer. You also have Dagon Breaker with the Frighten mechanic, Golden Glow to help you with the Mech Accord, attack everywhere. You also have Reed Outer, you have Chiu Pai, who is insane, Holderer, Ray, Zola, Nymph. Those are just amazing people. But these 3 that I select, I feel are the most specialized in terms of like just something that they do so well at compared to the others. And the others, I feel they might have a replacement. So for instance, if you say that Logos is powerful, I totally agree with the amount of slow, the bit of necrosis damage, but you could sometimes replace Logos with the likes of Lin, with the likes of Aya, depending on the situation, which is why it's going to be okay. And then even if you say people like Dagon Breaker, because we have so many Sword Masters as well, yes, Dagon Breaker is insane, but the other Sword Masters could still function just the same as her. And likewise for so many of the other people as well. Reed is cool with the amount of mob clearance, but that goes to say the same for Logos or Whistle, for instance. So that's the reasoning that I'm going to put forth, that they are not exactly in the top 3. These 3 people just do something of their own kind. Alright? If you have your own top 3, top 5 and whatnot, of course, please give your take and recommend in the comments as well. But that's as much as I'll say. 2 more fun picks, okay? The fun picks I'm going to give are going to be for Nymph. So Nymph has also a very unique role. I don't think the role is overpowered per se, but in moments where you can fear the enemy, so basically hit them and make them go back and forth within their own position, I think it's really good to have. Mastering Nymph is very rewarding, whether is it to use her skill 2 or her skill 3. I also do think that Nymph might not be the easiest for a new player exactly to understand how she's gonna help, but even if you're a new player and you just want this fun pick, I think she's gonna be fine. You know, you take some time, understand that her skill has a bit of that splash damage, know how to time the fear, and it's gonna be very good. And then of course the final person who I crashed out for within the video is gonna be Narantuya. Narantuya would have been in my top 4. Alright, if I extended it and allowed myself to recommend more people, it's gonna be that. Because Narantuya is just genuinely insane on all 3 of her skills. And you will find that the amount of like AoE firepower that she has on both skill 2 and 3 is just very enjoyable. The ability to steal defense as well is really good from Narantia, and I think she's just an awesome starter. Like, anybody anywhere within the game is going to find moments where Narantia is going to shine. So that is the reason for my recommendation, and that's that. Hand operators that I've recommended, alright? It's a different take on the selector ticket video. I have to do this every 6 months, so this is me shaking it up by just only telling you guys 10 names. Let me know down in the comments who you guys are getting, and I shall see you in another video or live stream. You can ask even more questions at those point in time, alright? See you guys. Bye-bye.